reaction. I'll link it if you haven't seen it. I'm sure you would have seen, if you're watching this video, you'll probably watch that video. But okay, the trailer dropped. It's exciting. This has been quite a week. The trailer dropped, and then if you got to see it, and if you didn't, I will link it in the description below. You gotta watch it. The Dusty Wheel had a 10-hour marathon live stream in which they got to interview Zoe Robbins, who is playing Nynaeve, Maddie, who is playing Egwene, Daniel Henney, who is playing Lan. Rosamund Pike called in and, interviewed Mad Hatch, which was fantastic. Lauren Balfe, the composer, was on there. The casting director zoomed in as well, which she's a delight. I love her. Oh my gosh, she's amazing. I was on it, but whatever. The rest of it, is incredible. You watch it. It's so good. I will link it in the description below. But I will say, I still don't quite feel like I've recovered. I was up because I was on the Dusty Wheel after the trailer dropped. I was up until 4:30 probably by the time I got to go to bed, 4:30 a.m. and had to wake up at 6 a.m. to teach an early morning online class and then, had to work. So, I don't quite feel like I've fully caught up on my sleep. I'm quite worn out still. I've rewatched the trailer many, many, many times, but I still don't feel like my whole brain has been engaged when watching it because my whole brain has still not fully recovered from the lack of sleep. But I have lots of notes. This list might be the craziest one so far. 43 things on the list that I took notes of while seeing this trailer. So let's go over it.
Let's be nerdy, babe. Let's be nerdy, let's be nerdy. Let's be nerdy, babe.
Just realized before we go into my notes, you know what? I don't know what I'm going to say. I think I go pretty hard on spoilers, but you know what? I'm going to edit in a spoiler warning here. Okay, spoiler warning. In this video, I kind of pretty much go to the end of the series. I don't really say things outright, but I allude to things that happened very, very late in the series. So if you don't want to be spoiled, if you have not finished the series, I do not advise watching this video. Sorry. All right, so let's begin. The very first thing on this, I'm going to put out my tinfoil hat theory here, because it starts off with baby Moraine, right? We have baby Moraine in her accepted test taking the O's, which I think, by the way, are just truncated for the trailer. I think that we'll say the whole thing about how she shouldn't use the one power as a weapon except in full defense of her life. Because Rafe said that phrase in his breakdown on IGN. He did a break. Also, I'll link it in the description below. If you haven't watched it, you should watch that. But I think that she will be saying the oaths as an accepted. But here's what I think is happening, because we see her holding the oath rod, and at the very beginning, you can see she's got her, modern day, contemporary shoulder pads. The shoulder pad she's wearing in the now on the show, it's the same dress. So that's her taking an oath now. And Swan, or whoever the Amerlin is at that point, but it does sound like Sophie Oganeda, so I think it is Swan, says, take your oath. What I think is happening here is that Moraine is on trial. She is on some sort of trial because we see in the teaser trailer, I haven't brought this up because lots of other people have mentioned this in their breakdowns, but in the teaser trailer, we see at one point, certain Aes Sedai have turned their backs to her, which make it seem like it's some sort of official shunning or censure or something like that. So I think she's on trial. And based on what we see in this trailer, which we see what looks like a funeral, we see an Aes Sedai being burnt at the stake. Oh my god. I think that Moraine is being blamed. This is my tinfoil hat. Okay, I shouldn't say I think. This is my tinfoil hat theory. Moraine is being blamed for the death of an Aes Sedai somehow. Not that she killed an Aes Sedai, but that she did something that resulted in the death of an Aes Sedai, which is why whatever is happening is so serious. And I think that's why there's an oath rod involved. And I bet you the oath rod at this point is not like a separate oath. Well, no, it's going to be a separate oath, but I think what it is going to be is to not obfuscate. What's the word? I'm still really tired. To not like do I said I speak. Like it's going to be speak forthrightly, speak truth. Like don't try and avoid the issue. Don't say, you have to say things plainly and clearly so that everything comes out. And I think that's what is happening here. The other thing you'll note in this moment is when she does cross the oath rod, Moraine and Swan's fingers kind of touch, which is a very, makes me happy. Yeah, y'all know I'm not a super huge fan of the Moraine Tom nonsense. Oh yeah, that's something I'm going to have to definitely put a spoiler in there for that. But I'm not a fan of that. This one, better, if it's a thing, but their fingers are touching, so. Okay, next on my list. Karinagashi doesn't die when we thought she did. A lot of us thought that she died when Logain exploded his shield and she was bashed up on the rock, and we thought that was what that was. But we see her get up. Not dead. This scene here. If the Steppenwolf theory is true, and if this is the actor playing Steppen, I'm really not sure. But if it is, I think that Steppen here is talking to Perrin, largely because like he looks very relaxed, and this to me feels like something that could be happening in the Tinker camp. Oh, in this scene, like where Lan says to Moraine, like, where next? And she goes, the Two Rivers. They both look so, the word I want to use is weary. Like, they don't look tired, they look weary. Like, they have been at this for a while. But they also both look really determined. It's good acting. It makes me really happy. It's good. Sorry, just laughing at my notes here. This note just says, Nynaeve! In all caps. And yeah, that's it. That's the only thing in this note. Just look at her. So good. Mm-hmm. I don't know why. This freaks me out. Like, it's so creepy. I think it's just knowing what's in the Murdrol's mouth just makes this so creepy because he almost looks normal. Like, you can see how he could pass as human here. It's just so creepy. I really, really like it. Not really all that important, but look, they enter Shadar Logoth, it looks like, through a hole in the city wall. And in that other video, my last, the Moraine's quest breakdown, there was something on the ground, and I said it was the only thing that was out of place. Well, we see some other things that look a little bit out of place here. Also something that looks like it's made of wood, which that was part of my thing, is that other thing looked like it was made of wood, and this, I don't know. Just a thought. Here, okay, we got the braid flip from the angle of the camera, because we saw it in the behind the scenes from the side. This is from the angle of the camera in that breakdown that Rafe did on IGN, like where he went through it scene by scene. He said Moraine did something badass right before this braid flip, which he also referred to as a braid tug, like she tugs the braid and then flips it, I guess. I don't know. But I don't know what that could be. A lot of people have said that this looks like the cave from the Women's Circle ceremony that we see. And it does look like the cave, but I never thought that it was, because I couldn't think of what would have happened in that scene that would make her so angry and defiant in this moment. It just doesn't make sense to me. But anyway, I don't think that that's it. But I don't know what else it could be. There's a couple of theories that it's something that happened in her accepted test, something that happens at the Eye of the World, or it's something maybe like after she catches up with Lan and Moraine, and then the going theory on this one is that Lan throws Nynaeve into a pond, which is similar to what Moraine did to him, or no, what he did to Moraine, well, what they did to each other in New Spring. Anyway, it's a cool idea. I honestly don't know. No clue here. I think I had one theory. I have a vague memory of having a theory at one point while I was falling asleep, but it might not have been coherent because, sleep brain. Here we have Matt brandishing the dagger. Like, you can see the ruby in the dagger if you slow it down. That's really cool. Possibly at a dark friend, which actually I'm going to skip ahead to another point in my notes, because you see somebody here with a dagger that comes out of their sleeve. And the line of the clothing makes me think it's a dress, which makes me wonder if that's Millie Skane, because also in the background there's a blurry person, but if you look at this, like, you can sort of make out what's happening on the set. It does look like it's where Matt was there looking at the Aiel in the cage. So it looks like she's, pulling a knife out of her sleeve to threaten whoever's standing in front of that cage, which is Matt. And then Matt turns around with the dagger. So I think that's kind of cool that could be Millie Skane. Like, it's really, I love these little things that aren't going to matter to anybody but us. Here we have Moraine say to the Emmons Field Five, who are going to be the Two Rivers Five. Missed the phrase Emmons Field Five. But okay. She says, it's one of the 5 of you. Which, just gonna say this for all the people who are so upset about this, that's true. It's one of the 5 of them. That is a true statement. It's a very Aes Sedai true statement. Even if she knows that 2 of them are impossible, or maybe she thinks it's the 4 and Nynaeve is too old, but still, mathematically speaking, it's one of the 5 of them. But that sentence does make me wonder if Nynaeve is gonna leave with them. Which does make me kind of miss the idea of Nynaeve chasing after them. However, for the show, when you have to speed some things up just because, these extraneous storylines, in the end, all that matters is that Nynaeve is with them. But, yeah, I don't know, I would miss that. And that would, rule out the land throwing her into a pond theory. But in that moment here, we have this, where Matt says, have you fully lost your mind, or something like that. He has an edge to him. He has an edge, much earlier on. This scene looks to me like it's happening before the dagger. So this edge feels earlier than I would have expected it. But it is perhaps in keeping with the, the new Matt backstory that we have going on. And, Barney Harris is doing a good job with it. It's just, Matt's got a bit of an edge. I wasn't expecting it. Do Trollocs attack the Two Rivers twice? Is that, because it's burned, right? And then Trollocs are coming down the mountains to attack again? Or is this, am I wrong about where this is? Like I said, I've been watching this through foggy, sleep-deprived brain, so maybe I'm just confused about where this is. Sorry. Again, more all caps. The last all caps in my notes where it's just the word name Nynaeve. This all caps is, Tam fights a Trolloc! Ah! It's so cool! So cool! The Trollocs look so good, y'all. No words. I kept pausing it and just staring at the Trollocs in amazement and delight and disgust at the same time. They are disgusting and gross, and they look so good. They look so good. Here we have Moraine, wounded or possibly just exhausted. Maybe this is after she's, made the ground blow up or something. Just pointing it out. Kind of cool. All right. Here we have Egwene saying, we have to protect those we love, no matter what the cost. And, okay, some of the complaints about the possibility of, all the kids knowing why Moraine is there and why she's taking them have been, about how it changes Egwene's story quite a bit. Because Egwene was the one who just left because she wanted an adventure. And that is true. It changes it. But this might be an alternative to that. The others could be arguing, oh, but no, I don't want to leave. And she is the one arguing to go. I think that would be a different way of conveying almost the same thing. Oh, okay. This note here. No all caps, just exclamation points. It just says, Foldara! Tarwin's Gap! That's it. Just look, that's Foldara. That's Tarwin's Gap. Yay! And here in Foldara, we have what I think, and this was pointed out to me on the Dusty Wheel, but you can see it here. This is Uno, because from the back of the head, you can kind of see what looks like an eye patch. Cool. And this possibly could be Ingtar, but, I'm looking at the back of his head. It doesn't look like the actor we know is playing Ingtar, so I don't know. If you can hear loud traffic, I apologize. Normally, I try to just start again when loud traffic happens, but this video, I'm just gonna let it go. Sorry if there's traffic. And then, okay, Agelmar. This silhouette is nice. It's gorgeous. I will say something about it, and I do not have the energy to go and find it, but it is reminding me very much of Avatar: The Last Airbender. Which is not a bad thing. I really like that show. So, okay, more all caps in my notes. Burning a yellow sister at the stake. This is holy hell. Holy hell. Okay, so many questions about this. This is awful. It's great and it's awful, but how is she not escaping? How is she not channeling to escape? Uh, okay, the next point, though, on my notes is Valda has blood on his hands, right? So he has done something to her. Maybe, like, she's just wounded, like maybe she's been shot with an arrow or something. We do know that being physically tired or weak can inhibit your ability to channel, so maybe that's how it is. Like, maybe he just wounds them enough so that they cannot channel to defend themselves. Maybe that's it. I know there's a theory that, and this was a really cool theory, I like this as a theory, that he is using the steading to burn them, which just, the Ogier would be so upset about that. But it's a very good theory. I still, though, think wounding them has to be a part of it because of the blood. Oh, just keeping on this, though, we have the reflection of the pyre where she's burning on his goblet. Like, the white cloaks, I mean, the Trollocs are gross and creepy, and I love them. As a person who's read the books and knows, like, the white cloaks are the scariest thing in this trailer to me. Like, how did they go from being ineffectual douchebags in the books to being terrifying? I think it's a really good change for the show, and I even like it thematically, right? Because in the books you have, like, the shadow, right? And you have the side of the light, and then you have human evil. And I like having the human evil, in this case being embodied in the white cloaks, being just as evil as the shadow. There's blood on this ring that he is hanging off of his belt, I guess. Okay, you can look, like, if you slow this down, you can see that he has different, like, ajas. Sorry. He has different jewels, different ajas that he's caught there. There's still blood on this ring. So, did he cut off the ring or cut off her hand or something as part of the wounding? Sorry, I'm just having a thought. Cutting off the hands. No, the Aiel don't use their hands to... Because the Aes Sedai use their hands a lot in channeling. Sorry, you're getting live thoughts here. The Aes Sedai use their hands a lot when they channel. Is it required, or is that just like a habit that they have? Because if he cut off the ring, like cut off their hand... Sorry, this is what happens when okay. So my brain is doing this now. So if he cuts off their hands, would they still be able to channel? Because you don't, like, in the books, the Aiel don't use hand waving as part of their channeling, but the Aes Sedai do. So would the Aes Sedai not be able to channel if they didn't have hands? He's cutting off the ring, because I think that's why there's blood still on the ring, but maybe he's cutting off their hands. Ugh. I don't know. It's okay. More tinfoil hat. Putting that back on my head. I don't know what. I'm just spitballing here. That is... Okay. Spitballing. I might edit that out, because that might be crazy. I don't know. This grief, okay, on Lan's face. This is intense. According to Rafe, again, in that IGN video that you should watch if you haven't watched it, what this is a way to show the bond between Aes Sedai and Warder, and I think it's a cool way to do it. It's a way to do it without, it's show don't tell, right? To explain the way the bond works between them. I really kind of like the contrast between Lan's very vocal and expressive grief and Moiraine's, like, you can still see the grief on her face, but you can tell that she is, like, actively restraining herself. I can see it being some sort of agreement, like an unspoken agreement between her and Lan, that as part of being an Aes Sedai, she has to maintain Aes Sedai calm. And so he, in these moments of intense emotion, will express things for her, and seeing that as a part of his duty. It's different from the books, but I think it's a neat interpretation of their relationship, and I'm here for it. I think I'm here for it. It's a little odd seeing it, but I think I'm here for it. Lan says he's lost so many people and he can't lose you. Who has he lost? I think the easy answer here is that people in the Two Rivers died, so that's likely it, but curious minds want to know. I want to know specifics. Who specifically has he lost? All right, we know that that person on the ground there in the corner, that is Aram, and we know that again because of Rafe. And Perrin and Egwene here are being surrounded by white cloaks, which I just find interesting. This is again one of those things where even in my notes, I say I'm going to have to think about this over the weekend because I can't figure out how to make this work timeline-wise in my head. I can't come up with a theory. So, but it's cool. Like, I know that that's Aram. I know that that's Perrin. I know that that's Egwene. And I know that those are white cloaks. And I know that these all kind of happen, the white cloaks, he meets the white cloaks. Perrin and Egwene meet the white cloaks after their time with the Tinkers. So, I don't know. I'm just condensing it, but my brain is too foggy to make it work in my mind. I don't have to. I could just wait and see. But theorizing is part of the fun, isn't it? All right, more all caps. I have Nynaeve pulling Egwene out of the way of a Trolloc. So awesome. And then, followed by that, more all caps. Egwene hitting a Trolloc in the head with a stick. Who is this person behind Nynaeve at the Waygate? Like, it's possibly Loyal. It's the only person that's missing if we look at all of these people, but he looks too small. Although there are some times when I'm like scrolling through it, like going through frame by frame, I can sort of get the impression that it looks like he's kind of hunched over. So perhaps, but the coloring still seems wrong. Although what am I talking about? I have no idea what Loyal's going to look like. Like, I don't know what an Ogier looks like. I know that the actor playing Loyal is black, but I don't know. I have no idea what kind of prosthetics they're going to put on him or special effects. I have no idea. I could just be talking out of my ass here. The coloring just looks a little off to me from, in my mind, what an Ogier looks like. But that's just full headcanon stuff. The other, I have this with many question marks. So take this with a huge pile of salt. Perhaps Steppen? Or Elias? The other note I have about this Waygate is, are there horses going into the ways? Are they going to climb their stairs into the ways? Because the reason I'm concerned about this is Bella needs to go into the ways because Bella has to get to Faldara. They all have their packs on their backs, so they've taken them off the horses, so the horses aren't going into the ways, right? Like, Bella! Yeah! Okay, sorry. What's happening right now is more in the moment theories. Sorry, that's what the freezing in my mind was, just me thinking this through. Maybe the Waygate is after Faldara. Like, maybe that's, I know they move stuff around on the map. I have to think about this, but maybe the Waygate is from Faldara to the Eye of the World or something. So all their horses, including Bella better be there, is staying in Faldara. I don't know. Tinfoil hats all around. All over this video. Alright, more all caps. Tom fighting Fade! Yeah, nice! Another all caps, and I'm just trying to read what I wrote here. It doesn't make sense. Who, what? Oh, I see what I was doing. Sorry. My notes are a bit of a joke here. But it is all caps. It says, who, what, when, where, why? Why is Nynaeve running? Don't really... Sorry. Some of these notes were written very early in the morning, and I don't remember everything or a reason. But yes, why is Nynaeve running here? Oh, I do love the view of the braid, though. Yet more all caps. Fireball! Channeling. I like the channeling. It looks so good. And yeah, like, look how much hand movement Moraine is doing here. Like, there's a lot of hand stuff happening. Sorry, I'm kind of, my theory about maybe the hands, it's freaking me out a bit because it's so gross. Lucaine melts his freaking cage. This is so good. Oily taint on the male, on Sidene, on whatever. Rafe referred to this as the corruption, and he said it like it was the name in the breakdown, and I wonder if they're going to use that on the show. I actually said that in a previous video, if they're going to change it, what would they call it? The foulness? I think I even said the corruption. And I dismissed it because I didn't like it. Because I thought it sounded silly. Maybe that's what it's going to be. I mean, the taint also sounds silly, but it only sounds silly now. Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see. We're all going to have to get used to stuff. Because they're saying Tar Valon instead of Tar Valon. So I'm gonna have to get used to that. Like, we're all gonna have to get used to some stuff that's gonna be different. The corruption might be a thing that I have to get used to. In this same scene, we have here, on this blade, we have 3 stars, which is a Gildan blade. I don't think it's exactly the same as the Gildan coat of arms, or what do you call it? The Gildan symbol? Whatever. Sigil is the word I'm looking for, in the books. But it is definitely Gildan, and that makes sense, given Loghain's backstory. My notes, oh, it's... Sorry, autocorrect did something weird here. I think it says shearing soldiers. It's supposed to be Shinaran soldiers. But they look really cool. The Shinaran soldiers look really cool. They are not shearing sheep. Here we have the Aiel. This is, it has to be the Bloodstones. It has to be the Bloodstones. This has to be the battle at the base of Dragon. Like, this has to be what this is. This is so amazing. We have 2 Aiel, we have 2 shots of an Aiel. I will say, I never thought that these were the same people, and I didn't realize that people were thinking they were the same person until I went through and finally got to catch up on all of the Dusty Wheel. Even when I was on it, I was a little bit confused because people kept saying that this is definitely a woman, and there's 2 shots of an Aiel, and I thought one of them was a woman and one of them was a man, and I never thought they were the same because one of them had spears and one of them didn't. Other people have done further analysis and seen different details that are different. I think that's likely true, but yeah, I think that they're different people. The first one has a bit of a feminine silhouette, and I think this is amazing. I love the spears on her, her back. The bloody tips of the spears is amazing. It's so good. And then the second shot. Here we have an Aiel, pulling an Illianer soldier. And we can see that because of the 9 golden bees, the sigil on their armor. The golden bees! Anyway... Sorry, that's a wheel take spit there. But the golden bees on their armor as they're pulling them. And there's a theory someone postulated on the Dusty Wheel, and I love this. I don't know if it's true, but it is a beautiful theory that could be Tam, because Tam was an Illianer companion. I think it was like a 2nd captain or something like that. And this person obviously has a high rank because of their helmet and their cape. Why would you wear a cape in battle? But, as you can see here, no capes! You don't, like, a cape leaves you vulnerable. But whatever. I like the idea of this being Tam, and then, if that's Tam, then I really want this person to be Janduin. I really, really want this to be Rand's 2 dads meeting on the fields of battle during the Aiel War. That would be so cool. This scene here, very, very, very brief, appears to be Perrin chopping at a Trolloc. You can't see the weapon very clearly, but the swing that he's doing there suggests axe to me, which is very, very cool. What the hell is this? No idea what this is. Some sort of women's circle thing? Literally, no clue. Oh, okay. I was like, why is I had this note here, like this is number 41. This should be much earlier. This was during a frame-by-frame rewatch. The contrast between the reds and the greens. Alana is wearing a very booby dress, and Leandrin completely covered up, like to the chin. And in this same frame-by-frame shot rewatch, I noticed this. One of the blues is wearing pants. Nice. I just like pants. Here, have they added gray to Lan's hair? All right, and then the final note, the final moment, and this is, I'm going to have to put a full spoilers on this video, I guess. The final note here, do you think we'll ever go back? And then there's like these flash of these other scenes. And then Egwene says, home? No. It literally, on one of my rewatches, I almost started crying. Like, that broke my heart. Just given where I know Egwene's story ends. I got teary-eyed. So that's it. Those are my notes. Those are 43 things that I missed and thought of on rewatches of the trailer. There's going to be more, I'm sure. I don't know if I'll make another video about it, but I'm sure there are going to be other things that I pick out or pull out on all of the watches that I have until the show comes out. It's in like about 3 weeks. Oh, let me pull up my calendar. I think it's 3 weeks today as of filming. I don't know if it'll be 3 weeks today as of when this video goes up, but whatever. Oh my gosh. That is so soon. That is so soon. This is so exciting. This is so exciting. Yeah. Anyway, I'm sure you likely have watched the trailer so many times too. Let me know if there's anything I missed that you pulled out of the trailer. Let me know in the comments below. And if you like my videos, like what I do, please consider checking out my Patreon. I will link to that in the description below. And with that, I will end this here. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!